You're listening to Stories Behind the Songs with Chris Blair. For more information, check out chrisblair.com. I met my next guest down at a bar in St. Augustine, Florida for the St. Augustine Songwriters Festival. Shout out to my buddy Augustine for letting me host that festival every year. It's been a blast. I've been doing that 6-7 years now and always love it. I know most of the people that play the festival, but one of the perks is every now and then I get to see a new artist or a new group that I didn't know before. I was in this bar in St. Augustine, Florida, and I heard these guys playing, and as soon as they started, their 3-part harmony just blew me away. Chris, Afton, and Derek make up the Lost Saints, and that's who we're gonna meet today. We're gonna talk about how they all got to Nashville, how they became a trio, which might just include one of the members somewhat blindfolding and kidnapping the others. We're gonna talk about the story behind their song Hookup and just how hard they've worked here in Nashville to get their career going, how that's paid off for them so far, and what I know it's gonna continue to do for them. The best thing about these guys is their hearts. They're so genuine, and I love them to death. They also have a new single coming out called Catching Fire. So go pre-save that on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you listen to your music. Go pre-save that right now, or by the time you're listening to this, it may already be out. Go follow the Lost Saints, subscribe, do all the things, buy their music. This is a great episode. Let's get to it, my friends. Chris, Afton, and Derek from the Lost Saints. Here we go. Hey guys, this is Chris Blair with another episode of Chris Blair's Stories Behind the Songs, and I'm here with my friends Chris, Afton, and Derek from the Lost Saints.
Hey!
Thanks for having us, man.
Man, I'm so glad you guys could
Stoked
join
to
us.
be on this couch right now.
I know.
Yes, here and hanging out on a beautiful day in 2023.
Beautiful day.
Yes,
The
so
most beautiful day.
let's go back to the beginning. I mean, I've known you guys for a couple years now.
Yeah.
2 or 3, maybe something like that. We met in St. Augustine. I've met
the funnest festival around.
It is. Arliss Albitron, dear friend of mine. I've known him for years.
He's the best.
I was so honored when it was like, I don't know, 5-6 years ago now, when he called and was like, hey, will you host this festival for us every year? It's been so much fun knowing a lot of the writers that go down every year, but then I didn't know you until then.
And thank God, right?
Yeah.
Until we saw you at the bar.
That's right.
We
Yes.
spent a weekend together.
Yes. It's one of the greatest festivals for music, but then just the camaraderie of everybody almost getting this adult vacation to go down and hang out.
Yes.
So yeah.
Oh, it's great.
But yeah, let's go back to I know you guys are all doing your own thing. You guys are from Texas. You're from East Tennessee.
Look at you.
And you guys all made your way to Nashville.
Yep.
And
What's funny is when we played your venue in Pigeon Forge, Derek's whole family came and filled the place up.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
He's got 1,000 aunts and uncles, and it was like, yep, they're all mine. We're like, we need to play here more often.
Right.
Yes, you do. Yeah. But yeah, so how did that all come about? Let's walk us through just moving to Nashville and how you all met. And
This is Derek's.
yeah.
Well, no, I wonder
Derek is
too if
the
we could even talk about personally, how we ended up here, because we never, we don't do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hopefully we don't bore anybody.
Let's do it. Yeah, no,
Go ahead.
this is the podcast. We have all the time in the world.
I have my whiskey, those are good.
Your apple juice?
My apple.
Right.
Yeah.
Juice.
Before we get to Derek's masterminding, putting this thing together secretly without any of us knowing, I moved to town about 9 years ago, and I was living in Dallas. I was a musician and had played for a long time, and I just knew if I wanted to see if I could really be a songwriter and I could really do it, I had to move here. There's no place like it.
Yeah, you're right.
And so I visited a couple times, and I quickly realized how hard everybody works here. And if you live in any other city, you can't possibly know until you visit that there's people every day writing 2 songs a day, going out, playing in the bars, going to bed, waking up, doing the same thing every single day.
Yep.
And I knew I needed that. I knew I needed that to see if I really had what it took. And it's to be determined, but I love being here, and it's been such a fun ride, and I love Nashville and seeing it grow and making just living within the community of songwriters and stuff is like no other industry anywhere else in any city. there's a push and a pull and a competitiveness, but there's also a camaraderie that you said, where everybody's rooting for each other and you're all in a room trying to get the same goal. And producers and artists and writers are all on the same page, and they just kind of just build this thing together, and it's fun to see it float up and actually work, and people that you used to play rounds with are now big artists on the radio, and it's just a really cool feeling. So it's been great.
I shouldn't have made him go first, because I'm like, how do you follow that? He's so
Whatever, dude.
he's so elegant with his words.
I feel like it's getting down the line to where like we're gonna get to the point where like you got blindfolded and handcuffed and thrown in the back of the van.
Pretty
very close situation.
Close.
Very close. So for me, I'm originally from Houston, and grew up like singing in church, that whole thing, and then I ended up going to Lee University for a little bit, which is Cleveland, Tennessee. If you know, Lee, like that's all that is in Cleveland, really. But sang there, and then found out about Belmont from there, because from Texas I didn't know anything about Belmont. So then I found out about Belmont, visited, ended up going to Belmont, and I was like, dude, like I've always wanted to do music my whole life. Like I'm gonna move to Nashville, and it's just gonna like happen for me, Like you just like think that. I think like when you think Nashville, you just think like your dreams come true immediately,
Yep.
So moved here, went to Belmont, worked, and it was just like, nobody hands it to you. And I think I just kind of thought that in my head. So for like a while, I honestly thought, I was like, maybe like I'm not gonna do music. Like it's just not really panning out. And then I met Derek, and we like started singing around the piano. And long story short, we'll get into that. I'll let him tell his story, but I didn't think I was going to do music. And then I met him, and now we're a group. So it's kind of cool.
And so in what year was this?
I moved here in 2013.
Okay.
And then I met him in 2015 or 16, probably. Something like that. So we've been a band.
It's funny,
we met in 2017.
Around the same time. Even
Yeah.
We didn't meet for years.
Yeah.
And we're both, so he's from Beaumont and I'm from Houston. So we're like Texas.
And then your roommates from
Pretty
close to my hometown.
Yeah. It's just like weird, like it's fate, obviously. So
It's got thing.
It is.
Oh, for sure. But I'll let you.
So, yeah, I'm from East Tennessee, a little town called Greenville. It's like
Greenville.
between Pigeon Forge and Tri-Cities. Just grew up singing in church, and my whole family plays and sings. And East Tennessee's got a really rich musical heritage, especially bluegrass and acoustic music. So that's just kind of what I grew up cutting my teeth on. And I was in a gospel trio for a while. That ended, and then I wound up moving here, and I was doing a lot of background vocals and just different stuff, and decided to try another trio.
Then he met us.
Yeah, why don't you tell him how you kidding?
Yeah.
So I moved into a new place, and about a month or 2 months after I moved in,
Something like that, yeah.
Afton moved in down the hall, and I introduced myself, and
Per usual. He would talk to like a brick wall, literally.
but we realized we had a ton of mutual friends.
Yep.
From when she
Well,
was
why don't you back up? You
University.
You saw her move
Yeah.
in, and what'd you think?
I literally, that's when he said that I moved in, I laughed because, okay.
To me and another neighbor of ours.
To preface, I worked at a bar for a long time.
Who's this older lady that lives downstairs who has her own crazy story, but
Right.
we're talking about these two new girls that moved in. She said, "Yeah, I think they might be strippers." And I said, "Oh,
Yes.
I said, okay."
Now you know why we're selling out
Oh my
shows,
gosh.
guys.
So, but Afton worked at a bar.
Nobody wants that.
on Broadway when she
Yeah.
first moved here. So
Yeah.
she would come in late at night, all done up.
Well, and we went out and, the whole thing. And we're in a super small, like, 12-unit condo, and it's, like, quiet.
Yeah.
And then we
And
come
Derek's
in and we're
already
just
an
like,
old man.
Yeah.
At heart.
I was born old.
Yeah. Same. I'm right there with you, bro.
So anyway,
anyways.
So introduced myself to Afton. Realized we've got a bunch of mutual friends from
when
when
I
she
went
was
to
at
Lee,
Lee. My roommate played with a gospel artist named Jason Crabb, and two of the guys in Jason's band went to Lee with Afton. They knew her, so she would come over and we'd get around the piano and sing. hymns.
That was like the
and-
most I'd sang in like forever too. I was like, this is like that to me was like enough. I'm like, if I can't do music, like just doing like hanging out with these guys and like singing around the piano is like that's fine.
Yeah, because you kind of shifted and you were going the business route, right?
I was,
Yeah.
because I was like, maybe I'll meet people and then like I'll be like, they were like, oh, she can sing, you know, and it was just such a fairy tale in my head because
Yeah.
I think like all of us as kids had this thing in our heart where like that's what we want to do, you know, and we all had our different like paths, but like I just was so naive, you know, I just really thought like, but in a sense, like God still had it, you know, was like that's still for you, you know, and like met him and.
Yeah. And it's funny too, your roommate connection, Morgan.
Oh yeah.
So her roommate's sister is best friends with a girl that I grew up with. So it's just
Man.
and used to sing with
Small
the church
world.
all the time.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, anyways, but this is like the longest story ever.
Go
We're
ahead.
talking about 20-minute stories.
No.
Like we're just like, this is how we met. We're gonna tell you about our whole life.
No, I love
So-
it. So you guys, so you knew each other. You're playing,
Right.
You're
Yeah.
playing gospel songs around a piano,
Yes.
and then all of a
Hanging out
sudden
at home.
you kidnap Chris.
Yeah.
I met
Ransom
Chris through
note
another
on my
mutual
door.
friend.
Meet
And
here.
nope, nobody
ours.
picked it up,
Meet here
so
at
we
7
got
or
him.
else.
Our friend Brandon that he'd written with, like, how many years had you written with Brandon?
Oh,
2
yeah,
or
a long
3.
time. Yeah.
Met Chris through our friend Brandon. He and I wrote together a couple times, and I'd had my this idea, you know, of putting a trio together. I was thinking,
Doesn't tell anybody. He just like has it like stewing.
and it's really hard now too to find people that can actually sing
Yeah.
harmony and know how to blend.
Yeah.
So I just kind of planned this thing out and asked them if they could
Yeah, I'll help
get.
you here.
Yeah, you.
Okay, so he doesn't ever tell this story, right? Because he's just like, yeah, so we sang and then now we're a band, you know?
is them trying to tell the story.
It's rude. So one day he's just like, hey, like, you know, because we always sing around the piano. He's like, hey, like I have this producer friend and, you know, like let's just go like sing at his house. And I have this other guy and we're just gonna like go sing some songs. And I'm like, dude, you know, in my head, I'm like, you know, I've been singing around the piano, like even just go sing with another person and at a producer's house, like how cool, you know? And he's like, yeah, it's this guy Chris and we'll just pick him up on the way, you know? So we're like.
And I had already put the thought in Chris's
He-
head. I mean, I had asked him.
Oh,
you know,
had
have
you?
you ever thought of doing anything
What did I
in a
say?
group?
He said
He
no.
said no. I've been working on my
No
solo
way.
career for way too long to abandon
So-
that.
But
I
you're
didn't
still
even-
like, you don't hear that. You're just like, cool.
Dude,
So,
Derek doesn't
let's
hear
just go,
no
like, play
ever.
some-
Like he never hears no. It's never
He
no.
asked me one time, and I was like, absolutely not. But I didn't know you meant for you. I didn't know what you meant. Anyways, we go and
So,
sing,
okay.
and it was just
Wait, no,
one
we
of
gotta talk
those-
about that. So we pick him up. I never met this guy my whole entire life. And Derek literally, it's so funny. He's like, these are the 3 songs we're gonna sing. It's like this one, like Lady Ace, like weird just, and I'm like learning these songs, like for no reason. I'm like, this is fun. We pick him up and I'm like, okay, what's up? Nice to meet you. And then we get to this guy's house and we just like sing these songs around the piano. And I'm like, man, that was so fun, you know? And he's like, y'all sound great. And I'm like, that's so cool to hear. Like, we'll see you in like a month, maybe. I don't know. And then we get in the car and Derek's like, so what do you guys think about like, you know, doing this trio thing? And I was like, trios? Like, do those even exist anymore? Like, do people even do that? And he was like, I just think it'd be cool. And in my head, I'm like, dude, hell yeah, I want to do that. Are you kidding me? Like, it's music. And he's like, yeah, I mean, this was super fun. Like, this was cool. Like, we'll see. I don't even know this guy.
And back to the, you know, us getting together around that piano and the first time we sang together, it was an undeniable
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I mean,
blend.
I was like a couple of years in trying to get traction and doing the things, and I remember that night feeling like this doesn't happen often.
Yeah.
Whatever this was and the way it felt and sounded was definitely enough to knock me off and go, okay, this is so special, but it's going to start from ground zero. Is that something?
Right.
Are
Well, you were
they-
so
are
much
they-
further
it's one-
along
and-
mentally than
and
like I
one
feel like
thing,
we
yeah,
were.
it's like,
or I was.
are they willing to work as hard as it takes to really do
Right.
it? It's
Right.
different to just all sound good together, but it's like, do you really, really want this? Because this is often not a lot of fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Singing and being on stage is so fun. but all the other things that it takes to do.
It's the
social
behind
media,
the
being,
behind
all
the
that kind
music.
of stuff takes us.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Literally,
Those
yeah.
stuff that people really don't realize what actually goes into it.
When
Yeah.
you're like, it's a weird, different type of relationship. It's like, we were talking about last night, kind of. It's like, it's not a marriage, right? But it's not like it's not a friendship.
Right.
Like you're like
We're like
really.
adopted siblings. I
You're
mean,
like
really
Yeah.
you're like
You're
tying
like
your
a
life
family
into
together,
like
yeah.
these people. So it's like the good, the bad, the ugly. Like you work like it's personal stuff, it's business stuff, it's everything. And
Yeah.
you have to find like you really have to love the people that you're doing this with to
It
make
has to
it
be
work
the right people.
for sure.
That's why a lot of these things don't work, I think,
Yep.
with the group thing. It was just a God thing that we got together and that
Totally.
we do actually like each other and love each other and care 5 years after being a band, still love what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think we knew that right away, so we spent about a year just getting to know each other, singing songs, writing songs together, until we kind of came to the conclusion that, like, hey, this isn't just some machine thing that Nashville's pushing out. This is a real organic thing that's happening.
Well, we played a
And-
show. We played at 3rd and Lindsley. R.I.P. Almost. So sad. We just
Yeah.
actually played there last night, which was
Hopefully
really
they
cool
just
too.
move somewhere else.
Well,
but
they're going to.
Yeah, they will.
So we played. That is actually kind of cool. So we played there last night in the main room, and our first show ever, where we really decided we were going to be a band, was in the back room, like the small
Yeah.
room.
Yeah.
So it was cool to like. It's kind of like full circle to
Yeah,
even talk
totally.
about. But we played that show, and that was kind of like we're like, let's see how this goes. Like it was friends and family. We're like, how are people going to receive it? Like, is it any good? Like, do we just really like it? And like nobody does. And we did it, and it was a great response. And we were like, okay, like it's kind of like you're courting, you're like dating for like a little bit, and then you're like, okay, we're gonna get married.
yeah.
Literally. So that was at that point, like we just took it and ran with it. And
Yeah.
here we are.
That's the
20 minutes later.
I mean, yeah,
That's where
it's like you're talking about, like it's hard to blend
Mhm.
voices,
Yeah.
and you can have 3 very talented vocalists
Totally.
that just don't harmonically fit,
Right.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I felt when where was it? I think it was Prohibition Kitchen when I first heard you guys.
Mhm.
And for everybody listening, it's this little bar on the like old area of St. Augustine, and like it was loud. Everybody was talking, and I was over like in the back area talking to some friends, and like everybody that was playing that day, like I knew, and
Right.
so obviously listening to music, but not really,
Yeah.
like
Right.
I'm just
'Cause
I was
you're
kind of hanging out with
chatting.
friends and just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
and you guys started a song, and I was in the middle of talking to somebody, and I stopped in the middle of a sentence and turned around, and I was like, who are these guys? And it was just like
So nice.
like chill bumps, like when you guys when you came in with that 3-part, and it just blended so well together in a noisy bar like that.
Yeah.
Where like
Very
it's a it was it was for the St. Augustine Songwriters Festival, so it was there was people there listening. It probably wasn't as loud as it typically is, but
yeah.
it was just like, holy crap, like who are, and I went straight up to Arliss and was like, who are these guys? And
Glad you did.
yeah,
I know,
it's
right?
just like it was. I mean, that's one of the things that's like 17 years now having the listening room. I'm super blessed, and I like can't thank God enough for like what He's built.
It's amazing.
But like I have the privilege of seeing people walk across this stage before a lot of people in Nashville ever hear them, and it's really great. The bad thing for me is that like after hearing like literally thousands and thousands of people, it takes a lot for me to stop.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
it's just like
You're
there's
desensitized to-
good
Yeah.
and there's art,
Mhm.
and the good doesn't stop me anymore. It's just like I hear it so much, it's like it's not unique enough, and that's what it was with you guys. It's like that's art, and it's just like
Man,
Yeah.
that means a lot. We knew that there was an element that we didn't control
Right.
with it,
Yeah.
the blend. Like there's just something that like you just don't. And the biggest compliment we've gotten from some really big groups that have been around for decades has been like, are you related? You sound like family.
Yeah.
And that's a huge compliment because families always have like the best harmony. But I'll just say for me, there is only 4 venues in town when I moved here that I just had my fingers crossed to one day play.
1,000%, yeah.
Mm.
1,000%.
So it was a huge honor when you asked us to do this and to play our first show.
Oh, I remember it. It was like you were like coming off the stage because you're hosting, and you're just like, we were like, oh yeah, blah blah, and you were just like, dude, like, we'd love to have you, and we were like, really?
Yeah. And
we would love to be there.
This is a town that you can hustle your way and you can get in and
For sure.
do things, but I felt like, at least for me personally, that the doors would open and the time would come to do it when it was supposed to be right.
Right.
And so the honor of being, one of your unsigned artists and getting to sing here is not lost on us, man. And we so appreciate champions like you that would take the risk on people and talent that nobody knows about. Because that's what it takes to get us anywhere, is certain people to come in and believe early,
Yeah.
And so it means a lot to us.
Well, thank you. This podcast is about you guys.
I know, but I just had to say it.
And it is such an easy place to sing.
We love this
here.
place. It's our favorite place to
being
play.
At your house in your living room.
It's so great. We
Yeah.
love it so much. So we appreciate you and
Thank you.
what you're doing.
Well, that's a good transition. Let's talk about
Okay.
the unsigned artists. That was really cool. It was early 2022 that coming out of like the world opening back up fully.
Yeah.
Finally, I felt like. But that's kind of where it hit me of like going back to like that stopped me in my tracks time, and like so I started to think, okay, like how can I highlight these artists that I see and hear that don't have a record deal, don't have a pub deal, but should, right? And so it was at the festival that I was like that seed was planted in me of like, okay, I'm doing this, and we were there like that last summer, and I was like, or fall or whatever it was, where I was like, okay, these guys, I'm gonna do this, but I wanted to do it at your show that you were playing here at the listening room, and then I had something come up and I couldn't be here, and I was like, man, so I FaceTimed y'all in the green room right
Which is
before.
an
it was
even
like,
better surprise.
Yeah, we love it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was just, it was my honor to be able to, to highlight you guys. But you came in, and you sang one of your songs, and went on the release of all the unsigned artists. So let's talk about that song and any other songs that you want to talk about. But like, talk about what that song means to you and the story behind the song.
Yeah, that is it's called Hookup, and it's kind of a play on words. I got the hookup.
We're going back to Afton being a stripper, right?
Yeah, exactly. Afton and Derek.
It's a great song. Totally kidding for everybody listening. Totally, it's not at all. about that.
And I'm not a stripper, so okay.
That's actually the only thing it's not about. Which is hilarious. I don't know how that.
Dang, we
happened.
need to remember that for the next song we write.
But yeah, it's a fun summer song.
It is.
And it was the second song we ever put out, and it is still our favorite, I think, to sing live and to do. It's just it's a story about each one of us sings on the song. We have our own verse, and it's like, hey, I got a friend that works at the convenience store that can get the ice and the cups, and my friend's got a brother whose cousin could whatever get us a lake house, and my friend's got a boat, and I have the hookup to a good time. And that's really as simple as it is.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of fun to sing and play, and everybody seems to react to it, so it's a good time.
And the photo shoot for that
Oh my
single
gosh,
artwork
yeah.
was
Photo shoot was
Wow,
hilarious.
Yeah.
It was
Because-
like right in the beginning of COVID. Nobody knew what was really going on.
Yep. So,
And-
So we were like staying.
I was like,
30 feet
did
apart.
somebody, you were like
I
going
was gonna
somewhere?
go visit my mom.
Your mom was
And
Yes.
my mom had just had surgery.
Yes.
So I was like trying to quarantine and not be around anybody. 'cause
I'm not
nobody
laughing at
knew.
that. That's not funny.
Nobody-
No. I'm thinking
Please
ahead.
don't.
Okay, I'm sorry. I
Marlene's gonna be like, she's out.
love you, darling.
Yeah, so we all went to my backyard, And we had bought a few little props that you can see if you check out the album cover.
Which you should.
And I do a lot of like marketing type stuff, so I was gonna take our photos and do the thing. But we didn't want to be around each other, and we were so worried.
No, he didn't want to be around us.
True, that's more fair. I was just too nervous about it.
Yeah.
So we took the photos individually and superimposed us all together.
No, he took his by
way.
himself, and then we were literally like in there, and so then he had to like put it all together. But it's like our favorite like artwork piece of
Because
artwork that we have.
each got to pick our own photo.
Yeah, that's true.
That's awesome.
We got to pick our own. Yeah, who liked what, and then it turned into being really funny because it's just like impossible to tell that we just weren't around each other, and it was really, really funny, and it turned out and worked, and we did it ourselves, so save a little cash.
I love
it.
Yeah.
Do it that way again next time.
Mm-hmm.
We should do it that way every time.
Yeah.
As much trouble as we have going through photos.
Well, that was like the second song we released too, and I think like we're getting more traction and stuff, and like we love that song so much that we don't feel like it really got the traction that we wanted because it was so early when we put it out.
Yeah.
So like
Another
we're happy
reason
to
why we
like
did it again
because
with you.
we love that song. So
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Brit Skin Beauty. Located in the beautiful Indulgence Medi Spa in Mount Juliet, Tennessee, Brittany is the go-to esthetician for facials, dermaplaning, microdermabrasion, waxing, lashes, and any skincare products and consultations. So many people in the music industry use her frequently, and her work speaks for itself. To schedule your next consultation or make an appointment, visit britskinbeauty.com or send an email to britskinbeauty@gmail.com.
So what's your favorite song that you guys have been able to write together?
don't know, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
Right?
Yeah, we have one that isn't released yet that we got to write with the Isaacs, who are, if you guys are
Incredible.
listening and don't know, they're just royalty
Insane.
of bluegrass and Opry members and
Family Harmony.
Family Harmony, and Derek had known them and been friends with them for a little while and somehow convinced them to write a song with us.
And a lot of people don't know. I mean, they
Yeah.
write quite a bit of country music. I mean, Sonia's husband
Yeah.
is Jimmy Erie, who wrote "I Drive Your Truck,"
Yeah.
and
Tons of
He's
big
great.
songs.
Sonia and Becky wrote "I'm Gonna Love You Through It," the Martina McBride song.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
And
just incredible. Like, if you ever think you're good as a trio,
You don't
just
anymore.
sit with them and be like, we got a lot of work to do. So they sat down with us, and they just put such a cool spin on this song with the harmonies and parts, and just deconstructed maybe how we would normally write a song and kind of just added their influence into it. And we haven't released it yet. We plan to. It's called "Don't Know That I Want To," and it's just a really pretty song, and we attribute all of that to them.
Totally.
And it goes over great live.
Well, the harmonies too are just like they've been doing it for so long that it's just kind of like creatively they think outside of the box, and they're harmonies that like we don't usually do, I
Right.
guess.
Right.
And so it just makes the song like the lyrics are great, but the song like harmonically is just very like beautiful
Interesting
and like
pretty, yeah.
different for us.
Yeah.
So it just makes it really cool, and it's the Isaac. So like, why would you not want
Right.
to like
Nerd,
do
yeah.
that?
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's amazing. So you've got that coming out sometime this year. What else? What's the plan right now? Like what is like the goal for 2023?
Oh
Tour?
my goodness. Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Totally.
I'm afraid to say some of
Yeah, I know.
We're kind
Put
of
it out in the universe.
Yeah.
right?
I know. We're kind of those people who, not arrogantly at all, but we just work really hard, and we want big things, and that's why we're doing it. And a huge goal of ours is to play the Grand Ole Opry.
Mm.
That's a
Just a little.
mega win. Yeah, right. Just a little one. I think, yeah. And,
Yeah.
and we've
Sure.
gotten our streams are
Absolutely could
are
happen.
getting up, and
100%.
Cross my
we threw
fingers.
it out there.
Like, please.
If anybody's listening, that's anybody.
Yeah, right.
Hey Dolly, if you're listening to this, if you need their numbers, text me. I'll
got a
hook you up.
chance.
Fellow East Tennessee.
I'm like, we'll put them at the credits.
Yeah, so we'll have to have a follow up after.
Yeah,
that. Talk through it. But yeah, that's a big one.
Brittany's side note, Brittany, my
Yeah.
wife Brittany, her uncle is the stage manager at the Opry.
Oh, no.
It
No.
has been for like, I don't know.
A long time.
Wait,
long time.
what's his
Yeah.
name?
Tyler Bryan.
That's
Yeah.
not. No, it's not. Is it really?
Did he tour like in the '90s with
Oh
artists?
gosh, I don't know. I don't know that story. He's been the stage manager there for a long time. He's awesome.
There's that. I'm trying to see. Like, we go there sometimes with like our friends who play there, and there's this one guy. Like we sang for actually the people at the Opry one time.
So 2020, before it went,
Sorry,
When
I'm
the
like
world exploded.
Yeah.
we had just become a band. 2019, started playing shows, got a lot of traction really quickly, and had all of our major meetings early 2020.
This episode is brought to you by Sennheiser microphones. When we first started this podcast, we were using some older microphones, and Sennheiser came in and sponsored us and gave us some MK4s and 914s. And I mean, I'm telling you, it's made all of the difference in the world. We love these microphones. We use them at the listening room as well. And I just can't say enough great things about them. Go check out Sennheiser.com. If you are into music in any way, their microphones are hands down the best on the planet. Go check them out, Sennheiser.com. And thank you, Sennheiser, for the support and the sponsorship. We love y'all.
Play at the Roy Acuff House for a lot of the staff, and we were invited by, Jamie and Darren.
Jamie and Darren and Dan.
Dealey and Vincent.
And we got to play, and we were on their radar and stuff, and I think it just exploded and things happened, and so we're just really hopeful that we're still somewhere on that radar, and that when the time is right, it'll happen.
Yeah. I
But
think it will.
I feel like that could have been like Brittany's uncle.
It could be. We have a couple little insiders who are like fans of what we do.
Yeah.
But it's a big machine, and we want to earn our way
For sure.
in there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. And so part of that was putting out music since we had that meeting. So just trying to put out good, consistent music, have more than 3 or 4 songs out, before they want to put you on a stage. So we did all that, and we're
That's
just
the
gonna
thing
keep
too.
trying
Like,
to put great
yeah,
songs out.
2023. We're like our goal for 2022 was to put out more music. And I think we've put out more music this last year than we did like before as a band. We've been a band since 2017.
Yeah.
So I think consistent music is still like a big part of like what we're trying to do. Just get those streams up, get those people to know who we are. And
Yeah, and I mean, I think it goes back to like what you were saying earlier, Chris, about like when you guys all came together and like you were asking yourself, like, do they really want to work? And like, if you're here in this town, which you have to be,
Totally.
if you're gonna make it
Yeah.
in country music, there's no doubt you have to be here, and it is a 10-year town, not a 10-minute town.
Thank
Yeah.
God, 'cause
So,
we got, like, a couple more years.
We're like,
But it's like those relationships that you meet along the way, like
Totally.
absolutely are necessary and will help, right?
Yeah.
But also at the same time, like organically, it's gotta come from you, and that's what you guys have. Like it's like you can meet these relationships and have somebody give you a shot,
Right.
like because they're like, oh, we're a big fan because we're friends, right? But it's the once you're out there, it's up to the fans to keep that wave
Totally.
going, and
yeah.
that's what I see with you guys, and just what's so exciting is like this is just the beginning, and like like I can't wait to come back and like have you guys on this in a couple of years and talk about like
Wow.
so how was that playing at the Opry and being up for the
Oh my
group of the
gosh,
year
I
at the
can't
ACMs? Like
Oh
how
my
does that feel?
gosh.
Like
I'm like
Bro.
melting in my seat right now. I don't even know.
I'll call you
Yeah.
first and be like, dude.
We'll say it on
no,
stage.
I actually better be wherever it is in Texas or
Yeah.
back
Oh
in
my
Vegas or
God.
wherever.
Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna be in the
He's on
green
the
room
list.
with
Green
you guys.
room and
so,
you're like
yes.
in the speech. It's like
Absolutely.
we're like, first of all, Chris
100%.
Blair.
Yeah. Want to thank our main motivator,
Yes. I'm gonna cut clips of this and repost it at that point.
Yeah, dude.
Oh man, I love it.
That's awesome.
Oh,
Well, cool. So 2023, lots of great things happening, and I'm gonna continue to be one of your biggest cheerleaders, and just support you any way I can.
Thank you
You're the
so
best.
much, man.
And we'll be at the listening room once a quarter.
Yeah.
2023.
Yeah,
So.
that's right.
That's right.
Let's go.
Can't get rid of us now.
Yes. That's one of the cool things about like genuine hearts, like all three of you have. Like, there's been so many dear friends that have been playing since, really, like, a lot of people don't even remember that we started in Franklin in 2006. Moved to Cummins Station in 2008, where a lot of people think of the listening rooms like beginning. But people that have played at least Cummins Station, but some Franklin Cummins Station, then we moved to 2nd Avenue, and then now here on 4th Avenue, that like got their start here. And some of them, unfortunately, that I was very good friends with, can't hardly talk to anymore. They're just like, they just like get so up in like being stars that like they kind of forget the friends and who they 100%. Are.
People that grew.
But there's more, like, luckily there's more people that I could list that are like, that stay true to who they are, and like, keep in touch, and still like will text me when they're like off the road, and go, hey, like, can we come back? It's like,
I love that.
to have like people like that reach out and go, hey, I just got finished, getting an award on the award show. Can I come back and play the listening room while we're in town? I'm like, wow, really?
It's awesome.
So, and that's what I love about you guys, is like the lyrics are there, the music is there, the harmonies are there, you've got everything, but like more importantly, like, you're just good people.
Thanks, man. Thank you. I just think it's important to have gratitude, and to just know, like, we don't really deserve any of it. You know what I mean? It's like, we can work really hard for it, but it's just important at the end of the day to be good people and hanging out with people and having a good time, and also knowing that, like, this is an opportunity that you are giving to us.
Totally.
Which is great, and we're grateful for that. You know what I mean? Anytime we get into a meeting or we have a new fan that likes our song, like, that's just an opportunity to be grateful.
Yeah.
And so
we've
done it for a long time too.
Yeah.
So it's not like we blew up and we're like, it's like, no, man, we've been here for a while.
Well, it's such a God thing too, that it's like we can't claim any of it, So it's just like, it is like surprising every time like someone comes up and is like, I heard this song, or like still, so it's like all of those things,
divine
like
connection.
It's not us, and so for us, it's like to even be where we're at now and just like have that happening, like we're thankful for all of it.
The fact that you moved from Cleveland, Tennessee, to a very small apartment condo.
I know.
Right down the hall. That is. I mean,
and then
it's just like,
met a random guy and our harmony sounded good. It's like, why? It's just.
It's weird.
Yeah. So
and
we're
I think
thankful.
Even beyond the music, like, it's been like we've watched each other grow in different ways, but even as like a family and as friends, it's we can totally see now why we're all together. There's so much of a balance in personalities and workloads and things like that has just been really great. You feel like you gained a couple of family members through this thing, no matter what happens. For life. And so
like it's just like you have like strengths and weaknesses, and like we just weigh each other out. So it's like you have a team. And, like, I know, like, people who are, like, solo artists, it's just you have one personality and it's, like, one thing. But for us, it's, like, he's good at this or he's good at that and I'm good at something. And we just kind of weigh each other out. And it's just...
It spreads the weight to carry, too, Because sometimes, like, we have great days and we have times where we play great shows and put out music and there's great responses. But then you have rough days, too, where something doesn't come that you thought was going to work out, or you didn't hear from such and such. And we all have our different times where we're feeling like, what are we doing? And the other person's like, we're doing this. Like, if you look back to this year, here's all the things that we've done. And you're like, gosh, you're so right. Like, I just, and sometimes I think as solo artists, that having done it for years, like, you just don't have that. Just all on you. And so it's been nice to experience that within, and to just feel like I'm in it with some other people in the trenches with me.
And it makes a live show a whole lot easier on a singer too. I mean, because you're not carrying the whole thing yourself
Yeah.
the whole time.
A lot more
Yeah.
variety.
I personally love that. So.
Well, I've loved having you guys on.
Thank you.
I want to end. I try to end with this question
Oh no, I'm scared.
every time.
I'm so
I know.
scared. All right.
So Derek, let's start with you,
Ooh.
Love
and
it.
then come back.
Okay.
So if you're talking to, let's say, like your 8-year-old self, okay? If you're talking to your 8-year-old self, knowing what you know now in the music industry, what advice would you give yourself, or someone else that wants to do this, or both? And now you guys have some time to think about your answer.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Start writing as early as possible.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Pick up an instrument as early as possible. And man, what else?
Oh my god. I mean, that was you gave 2
Those are-
answers.
those are-
That was pretty
that's-
good.
That is
Oh
good.
god.
I like that.
Shoot. I guess for me, I would say, you know, if it's in your heart, like God has you, like you kind of do have to trust that. And then also just when you have that in your heart, just be confident that God does have you and that it's
That's
all
good.
gonna, whatever it's supposed to be, it will be. You know, I think that's important.
I'd probably slap his little face and be like, run the other way, kid. No, I would probably say, move to Nashville quicker,
Yeah.
find a mentor
Mhm.
as fast as you can, and work harder than you think you're working right now. You know, and I think
That's
those
good too. Yeah.
And be consistent. Don't give up. Don't give up's the biggest one.
Yeah.
And I think my little 8-year-old self would grab his BB gun and probably be like, I don't know you.
When I was 8 years
You're
old,
a
I
stranger."
really thought I was gonna be famous by now. So like, I was in a great place.
I love it.
Okay.
All right. Well, Chris,
Thank you,
Afton,
Chris.
Derek, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
being here.
No,
It's
thank
been
you for
been a
having us.
blast, and we will do this again.
Always
Love
fun to
it.
be here. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, you are listening to Chris Blair's Stories Behind the Songs with the Lost Saints. Go check them out. Buy their music, stream their music, follow them on all the socials. It all helps. The industry looks at that stuff more than y'all know. You can find them at Lost Saints Music, correct?
That's
Is
it.
that right?
Yeah.
Yep.
LostSaintsMusic.com and on socials. And this is Chris Blair. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
This has been an episode of Stories Behind the Songs with Chris Blair. For more information after the show, head over to chrisblair.com. That's where you can find information on these episodes, trailer notes, video links, all kinds of great stuff. Also, make sure to leave us a great rating on iTunes, like and follow us on Spotify, YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts. Leave us a comment, let us know what you think. I really hope that you think this show is awesome, and we really appreciate the love and support. I promise to keep gathering great content and continuing to sit down with more amazing songwriters and artists as we grow. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks for the support. We'll see you next time.